Yo, what's going on, good people? Today is Monday, September 8th, 2025. Time is 10:31 a.m. Eastern Time, and you all know what the episode Monday Morning Quarterback with the Bridge. Get down with Big Ron Brown, Big Kush, King Kush is all the same. Just here bringing my opinion about recap of the scores from college football, NFL Week 1. NFL Sunday started yesterday, so got some major games to get into. College football Week 2. Some games I want to get into, and other sports news and whatnot. Some other some major sports news. People going into the Hall of Fame, U.S. Open winner. Some major things I want to talk about and get into. But first of all, let's start off with college football. For the most part, we all know the first 2 to 3 weeks of college football is basically tune-up games. And that's exactly what you had going on. For those that don't know, when you see scores like 77-3, 62-14, those were basic tune-up games. And it's like that pretty much for the first 2 or 3 weeks of college football. So start off with my Miami Hurricanes. We played Bethune College yesterday. Defeated them by a score of 45-3. Ohio State defeated Grambling 70-0. Penn State defeated FIU 34-0. Oregon defeated Oklahoma State. I thought that would have been a much closer game because Oklahoma State is a pretty good football team. But that Saturday, 69-3. I think Oklahoma wanted to send a message because Coach Gundy from the Oklahoma State team had some things to say about their budget or about NILs or whatever. And Oregon took it out on them during the game. 69-3 was that final. Texas bounced back against San Jose State. Arch Manning looked very good. He had like 295 yards of offense, 295 yards and about 3 or 4 touchdowns. I think he had a pick in that game also, but Texas got the win 38-7. Illinois defeated Duke 45-19. Florida State, oh my God, a school that I had never heard of before Saturday, East Texas A&M. Pretty much beat them down, beat them up, beat them all around 77-3. That's exactly what I was talking about, those scores. So 77-3 over East Texas A&M. And Alabama bounced back after their loss against Florida State, defeating them 73. UL Monroe defeating them 73-0. Tennessee played TSU, defeating them 72-17. Indiana defeated Kennesaw State 56-9. Texas Tech defeated Kent State 62-14. Utah defeated Cal Poly 63-9. Texas A&M, pretty good game against Utah State, but they were victorious in that game 44-22. Some good games. Probably the game of the weekend in college football was between Baylor and SMU. They defeated them in 2 overtimes, 48-45. And another rivalry, in-state rivalry, Iowa State defeated Iowa 16-13. Very tight, close game there. Oklahoma defeated Michigan 24-13. Clemson defeated Troy. They get in the win column for the year. Clemson defeated Troy 27-16. South Carolina in a rain delay against South Carolina State, but they were victorious and they defeated them 38-10. Georgia defeated Austin Peay. I think I'm saying that right, 28-6. LSU defeated Louisiana Tech 23-7. Ole Miss in a very tight game against Kentucky. They defeated them 30-23. Mississippi State in a very tight game defeated the Arizona Devils in Starkville 24-20. And probably the shocker of the college football weekend, South Florida defeated Florida 18-16, I believe, on a last-second field goal. A lot of people did not peg South Florida to come into Gainesville, into the swamp, and get that victory. But goes to show you that's exactly why they play the games. But they defeated South Florida in Florida 16-14. Also, congratulations to Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson on getting their first wins as coaches for their college, for Delaware State and for Norfolk State. I think those two are set to play each other sometime in October. But those are the college slates of games wanted to get into real quick for week 2. Like I said, probably the biggest game, the upset, was South Florida defeating Florida in Gainesville, and Michigan losing to Oklahoma. But a lot of people that they were expecting they weren't expecting Michigan to lose that game because Oklahoma didn't do anything spectacular. It was basically just ground and pound, play good defense. But just goes to show you, anytime you have a new quarterback, Robinson, the kid's a big kid, has a big arm, big time talent, but you still gotta produce. You still gotta go in there and hopefully your other people around you make plays, because from what I saw, he's a big, strong kid. He's like 6'4", 6'5", 200 something plus pounds, and he was trying. He was making throws. But the Michigan run game started to catch up a little bit. But in a game, especially when you're in a hostile environment, you got to have other players step up and make plays for you. And it just didn't happen for Michigan that night. But I'm pretty sure they'll definitely bounce back. It won't be like that all the time. So, but anyway, let's jump from go from campus to go to the professionals. Let's talk about this. Talk about these NFL scores, starting with Thursday night, of course. The defending champion Philadelphia Eagles hosted my team, the Dallas Cowboys. My family and I were down there tailgating earlier that day. It was definitely an experience. My kids thoroughly enjoyed themselves. But in the end, this game had everything. You had pushing, shoving, helmets flying off, people spitting on each other. You had an hour rain delay and lightning delay. But in the end, around 12:15 in the morning, the game finally ended with the Eagles winning 24-20. Story of the game: Jalen Hurts basically doing what he does. He had rushing touchdowns. Saquon Barkley had a rushing touchdown also. Javonte Williams for the Cowboys in his Cowboy debut, he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Dak looks completely healthy and healed up, moving around in the pocket, looking good. Story of the game: with CeeDee Lamb is a great player. He's a great receiver, but it's just some drops that could have changed the momentum of that game. Definitely could have changed the momentum of that game. Of course, everybody's going to talk about Jalen Carter getting ejected because he spit on Dak Prescott, and they said Dak Prescott spit first, but if you look at the video, Dak looked like he was spitting on the ground, and Jalen Carter took some. He didn't like that. He felt, as they say here in Philadelphia, he felt some kind of way. He got close enough. He hawked Tuli and spit on his jersey. Big difference with spitting on the ground and spitting on someone's jersey. But they saying some other news. He may face some other punishment because of that, probably later on in the week. I know he's probably going to get fined. He may get suspended another game. But in the end, basically it comes down to Jalen Hurts, because Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, they did not go crazy. So kudos to the Cowboys secondary for that. But Jalen Hurts, and I wish Overshawn could have played. If Overshawn would have been healthy, he could have been that spy, kind of like how Derrick Brooks was back in the day for Tampa Bay. He could have been that spy for Jalen Hurts. So if Jalen Hurts wanted to run, somebody with Overshawn's speed and ability could have been right there, but he hurts you with his legs. He can hurt you with his arm, and he can hurt you with his legs. He is definitely a dual threat. So Eagles take that game 24-20. They'll meet each other again. In November, week 12 in Dallas. Friday, the game in Brazil between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers win that game 27-21. Story of the game: Herbert, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Mahomes had 258 yards and a touchdown. Worthy for the Chiefs, Xavier Worthy, the speed receiver, he got hurt, and they're already kind of thin at receiver as well. That story I take from that game: the Chiefs' run and dominance over the AFC West, it might not be as strong as this year. It very well could be that a new team could dethrone them in the AFC West. That could very well happen. So I'm not counting the Chiefs out, because they still have Patrick Mahomes. They still have Andy Reid as a coach. Other players, Rashee Rice is going to come back from suspension. They say Xavier Worthy has a dislocated shoulder. They're going to play it from week to week, so he could come back. I'm not going to write the Chiefs all yet, but their dominance over the AFC West could very well be in jeopardy. That's just my take. So the final score 27-21. Chargers take that game in Brazil. Other games I want to get into from Sunday. Commanders defeated the Giants 21-6. Story of that game. Jaden Daniels had 233 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. Russell Wilson only had 168 yards, sacked 2 times. I looked at the Giants' next 3 games. I believe they're at Dallas this Sunday. They play the Chiefs, and then they play the Chargers. It could very well be a situation where you could be 1-3 or if not 0-4 before this month is over, before we get to October. If Jackson Dart is ready, yeah, you may need to get him warmed up, because Russell Wilson's time as a full-time starter in this league, I believe, is coming to an end. He's made his money. He won his ring in Seattle. His place is forever cemented. Of course, we all know he's married to the beautiful Sierra, and they have a lovely life together. But I think he needs to probably start thinking about life after football. It's getting to that part of the journey. And the Giants could very well start out 0-4. Malik Neighbors was on the sideline. He had a meltdown. He looked like he wasn't like, I didn't sign up for this. And Jackson Dart may be your best bet right now to go forward as a starting quarterback in the league. So, yeah, Commanders 21-6 over the Giants. That could very well be the story. Giants could start off 0-4, and it could get very ugly in the Big Apple. One of the games of the day, the Jets and Steelers. I did not expect this. This was a great ball game with the Steelers taking the win 34-32. Justin Fields, I am very much impressed by what that young man did on yesterday. I am rooting for him. He had 218 yards. He had a touchdown pass, and he also ran for 48 yards. He was a dual threat, showing you what he can do. And he had somebody believe in you, and they gave him a new contract. I am very much rooting for Justin Fields. He looked great yesterday. Breece Hall also had 107 yards rushing. For the Steelers, Rodgers, Stephen A. Smith like to say, that bad man. He showed up, he showed out, and he showed the Jets I still got some gas in the tank. He had 244 yards and 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. But the 60-yard field goal at the end for the Steelers to take the lead, Jalen Ramsey. That hit alone, when he separated Wilson from the ball and caused it to be an incomplete to seal the game, that's why you bring a player like Jalen Ramsey in. That's exactly why. Everybody talks about his swagger, or he might be cocky or confident, his bravado, whatever. When he made that hit at the end of the game and separated that ball from Wilson, that's why you go get players like Jalen Ramsey. They are a difference maker. And it made the difference yesterday for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was a great game. Like I said, I am rooting for Justin Fields. Aaron Rodgers has a lot left in the tank. And the catch that DK Metcalf made yesterday was just insane. For him to be on the ground and the ball just to fall and his concentration level, that's just crazy. That is insane. But that's when you have players like that can do those type of things. That's what you pay a guy for. That's what you bring a guy for in like that. Other games I want to get into real quick. Indianapolis Colts 33, Dolphins 8. Oh man, did not see that coming. Daniel Jones looked pretty solid in his Colts debut. He had 272 yards, 1 touchdown. Tua, 114 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, sacked 3 times. I believe Ryan Clark said it on Twitter. Tua keeps having games like that, he's gonna get benched, if not get the coach fired. With the weapons that he has, and Waddle and Tyreek Hill, that's no excuse. I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know. Maybe the coach was just a better team, but I expected more out of Miami than that. And Ryan Clark hit it dead on the head. If Tua keeps playing like that, he may get benched and he may get the coach fired. But other games I want to get into real quick. The Raiders defeated the Patriots 20-13. Story of that game, Geno Smith in his Raiders debut, he had 362 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was sacked 4 times. Jerry Genty, the running back, number 1 running back out of Boise State, he had a touchdown. Crosby, the new, got his contract earlier, a few months ago, and he had a sack yesterday. The Patriots, May had 287 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and he was sacked 4 times. Pete Carroll, at 73 years old, the man just knows how to coach. He knows how to get the best out of his team, and the Raiders get the victory in New England yesterday. Tampa Bay Bucks defeated the Atlanta Falcons 23-20. Story of that game, Baker Mayfield had 167 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, only sacked once. He looked sharp. He looked good. Another quarterback that I am rooting for, Michael Penix Jr., he looked good. 298 yards, 1 touchdown. He was only sacked once. Bijan Robinson had 6 catches for 100 yards out of the backfield. He is a dual threat. If he can run the ball and he can catch, he is that guy. But at the end, Tampa Bay gets the win. Last second win is just NFC South, a division game. They doing what they do, so congratulations to them on getting that win. Another game we want to jump into real quick. The Cardinals defeated the Saints 20-13. Murray had 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, sacked 5 times. Marvin Harrison Jr. also had a touchdown pass. For the Saints, Rattler had 214 yards. Alvin Kamara scored the Saints' 1,000th touchdown yesterday. Nothing else really to talk about. Saints got to find a way to get better, get some more production out of their offense, because they have some weapons down there. But in the end, Cardinals get the win, 20-13. Cincinnati Bengals will not start September 0-1 or 0-2. They get a victory in Cleveland, 17-16. Story of the game: Burrow had 113 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. I thought Myles Garrett was going to kill him on that shot that he took from Myles Garrett. If he keeps taking shots like that, he won't make it to Halloween. That was a vicious hit that he took from Myles Garrett yesterday. Story for the Browns: Joe Flacco, 290 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs, sacked 2 times. I saw Cleveland Browns schedule. Their next 3 games, they play at Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit. It could very well be a situation where Cleveland starts 0-4. And if that's the case, you need to get Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders ready. They need to start taking reps with the ones, because that is not an easy schedule to start the season. They could very well be 0-4 before we get to October. And Flacco is another guy that he needs to start thinking about life after football. He's 40 years old. He's made his money. He won a Super Bowl, of course, with the Ravens. But if you're the Cleveland Browns, you need to get Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders ready, because you very well could start the season 0-4. So you need to get them ready. Other games I want to get into real quick. The 49ers defeated the Seahawks 17-13. Story for the 49ers: Purdy had 277 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was only sacked once. Ricky Porcel had 4, I think I'm saying his name right, 4 receptions for 108 yards. Sam Darnold for the Seahawks had 150 yards, only sacked once. I hope I'm saying his name right. I don't want to butcher his name. Smith Najiba. I hope I'm saying this right. He had 9 receptions for 124 yards. Julian Love had 10 tackles and a sack for the Seahawks. 49ers get the win 17-13. Tennessee Titans defeated by the Broncos by a score of 20-12. Story for the Titans: Ward only had 112 yards, number 1 pick. He had 112 yards passing. He was sacked 6 times. You saw his dad just walking around like they killing my boy out there. He was running for his life. He left about 2 or 3 pounds of flesh on that field, because Denver has a defense and they get after you, especially in Denver. They are not to be played with. Story for the Broncos: Nix had 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He was sacked once. Talona Hufanga, I hope I'm saying his name right, he had 10 tackles. But hopefully Tennessee can get some better linemen that can block for that young man, because you don't want him starting his career like that. You don't want to rattle him. You don't want to shake his confidence like that. Getting sacked 6 times, that is brutal, especially in the NFL. Other game I want to get into real quick: Jacksonville defeated Carolina by a score of 26-10. Story for the Panthers: Bryce Young had 154 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked once. Jacksonville, Lawrence, the quarterback, had 178 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. ETN, the running back, had 143 yards. Travis Hunter, Heisman winner from last year for Buffalo. 6 catches, 33 yards. I think the biggest story of him that day, he got his haircut. He had the dreads and now he has a short haircut. So that was probably the biggest story of the game. J.C. Horn had a great pick yesterday for Carolina. I will say that. But in the end, Jaguars get the win. They had a rain delay, but they were able to get the win 26-10. Another game I want to get into real quick. Green Bay Packers defeated the Detroit Lions 27-13. Story for the Lions. Goff had 225 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was sacked 4 times. 4 times. It's basically for Goff and for Detroit. The regular season, you get through the regular season, of course, but it's all about the postseason for the Lions. They've had a window now for the last 2 or 3 years where they need to get some postseason wins. That's Detroit is starving for that. And Jared Goff, of course, he went to the Super Bowl with the Rams, but that's all they care about now. They want to get some postseason wins, and for them to look like that against Green Bay, your division rivals, not good. Story for the Packers. Love had 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rashawn Gary had 1.5 sacks, and Michael Parsons for his Green Bay debut, he had a sack. Basically, he was on a pitch count, he was on a snap count. Yesterday he did because he didn't practice, he didn't training camp when he was with the Cowboys, back issues. So they kept him on the snap count, but the ovation that he got in Green Bay and how they cheered him and how they showed him love and the energy that when he walked out on the field, when he gets in football shape, when he gets like revved up and his body is, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem. Green Bay is definitely going to be a problem. So they get the win 27-13 over Detroit. Los Angeles Rams defeated the Houston Texans 14-9. Story for the Texans. Stroud had 188 yards, 1 interception. He was sacked 3 times. Story for the Rams. Stafford had 245 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. Nakua had 10 catches for 130 yards. Rams defense, Cam Curl and Nate Lohman both had 10 tackles each. Brian Young had 9 tackles and 1 sack. Congratulations to Matthew Stafford. He went over 60,000 yards passing for his career. So congratulations to him on that. Probably the game of the night. The game of week 1 was between the nightcap between the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills, in which the Buffalo Bills get the win 41-40 on the last second field goal to give them the win. Story for the Baltimore Ravens. Same old story. I fell asleep on this game. I am not going to lie. I caught the highlights earlier this morning. When I went to sleep, it was in the middle of the 3rd quarter, and they were winning, I believe, 27-19. So it just shows you how the game flipped. Story of the game for Baltimore: Lamar Jackson had 209 yards, passing, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked twice. Derrick Henry is just doing Derrick Henry things. He had 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. Flowers went off. He had a great game, 149 yards, kept receiving, 1 touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins showing everybody he still got some gas left in the tank. He had a touchdown catch, caught it with 1 hand, like he was snagging a loaf of bread, like it was nothing. But in the end, it was turnovers that did it in for the Ravens. Like I said, Henry had a great game, but fumble. Can't have that. And Baltimore, their strength used to be their defense with Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, and Ed Reed. But the strength of the Baltimore Ravens has flipped to the offense. And the fact that Stephen A. Smith brought up a great point a while ago. They are the first team in history to score 40 points, have over 230 yards rushing, and to lose a game. When you put up that kind of yardage and that kind of points, you're supposed to win. You got to find a way to win that game, especially because it was the team that knocked you out of the playoffs last year. You got to find a way to win that game. That's just simple. When you have a lead like that, you can't give that away, because Buffalo, especially in Buffalo, they're not going to give up, and they're going to keep fighting, and they got the win. Story for the Bills. Allen, he had 394 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's only sacked once, kind of justified him getting that MVP. Keon Coleman had 112 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. Ed Oliver was a man on a mission. The man had a huge sack. I believe he had 6 or 7 tackles to go along with that sack. So that was just Buffalo saying that the road to the Super Bowl this year may come through Western New York, because for them to get a win like that in Buffalo was huge, very huge. And they put the rest of the AFC on notice that the road to the Super Bowl may come through Buffalo, New York. Preview for the Bears-Viking game tonight. That's going to be tonight on ABC Monday Night Football. I am very much looking forward to this game because you want to see what Caleb Williams is going to do from year 1 to year 2. Now he's under new coach Ben Johnson. Definitely want to see what Minnesota's going to do with J.J. McCarthy now that he's healthy and he's the main quarterback. He's the guy in Minnesota. I just remember last year when the Bears played the Vikings in Minnesota. One thing that travels in any NFL team, if you have a good defense and a solid running game, that will travel no matter where you go. And I remember Minnesota, what they did to Caleb Williams last year. I don't know if it was Monday night or Sunday night game. Caleb Williams, the look he had on his face sitting on the sideline and his body language, and he was like, I'm getting the hell beat out of me. So I believe the Bears will win, but I do know that Minnesota always has a solid defense, and that travels anywhere. But I do believe the Bears will win. I'm anxious to see what J.J. McCarthy looks like with playing with Justin Jefferson and the other kid, Addison, that plays receiver. So definitely looking forward to that game. I don't believe it'll be a blowout. I believe it'll be close because it's always close between those two teams. But I believe the Bears will pull it out. So definitely anxious to see and looking forward to that game. Other news I wanted to get into real quick. Just wanted to talk about congratulations to Pam Oliver. She is going into the American Sports Broadcasters Hall of Fame. She's been with Fox since the inception of NFL on Fox since 1994. She's been there any game, any weather, Super Bowl, whether it's the national game of the week or if it's the number 3 rated game, it doesn't matter. Interviews, she's always there. A graduate of FAMU, HBCU, FAMU, said she was a great athlete in her own right, running track down at FAMU. So congratulations to her on going into the Hall of Fame, American Sports Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Carmelo Anthony going into the Hall of Fame. He was presented his jacket, and his son presented his ring to him. He's one of those guys, man. Listen, when it didn't matter what team he was on, Denver, New York, it didn't matter. Melo was gonna get his. He was that dude. Ever since he was in Syracuse when he won a national championship with them back in the day, he was that guy. He was always that guy. And of course, we all know he didn't get a ring, but he did get like 3 or 4 gold medals. And he's definitely in that upper echelon of players that I respect 100% that didn't get the ring. Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, Karl Malone, Allen Iverson. He's definitely in that class. So congratulations to him. We are now in the month of September. This is what I like to call September separators in Major League Baseball. This is when the good teams are starting to separate themselves from everybody else because they're getting ready for a playoff push. Baseball playoffs in October. That's when baseball is at its best. Certain teams are taking that. They have taken that trajectory and going for the playoff push. The Phillies, of course, I root for the Phillies. Milwaukee Brewers, the Dodgers, the Cubs are coming on strong. They are hot too right now. So this is when the September separators. This is the best time in baseball, getting ready for the playoffs. So also,
this is a reminder.
Wanted to talk about real quick. Congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz. He won the U.S. Open. This is his 6th major win.
This is done.
Only 22 years old. Congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz winning the U.S. Open yesterday. Like I said, he's only 22 years old. His 6th major win. I just think for tennis, they were competing. I think they started the same time the NFL games started yesterday. And maybe if they had a different time slot, I get it. Tennis is an international game, so you're gonna have people from all over the world watching. But it probably took away from some viewership because when you going up against week 1 of the NFL Sunday, that's kind of tough. And tennis is a great game. It's a great sport, and you don't want to take away from that, but it is what it is. But that's my Monday morning quarterback for September 8, 2025. I will be posting this on YouTube People, please go to my page, The Bridge 45, at The Bridge 45. Like and subscribe. Give me your comments. Give me your feedback. Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe if you don't mind. And I will be getting at you guys next week. Until then, stay safe. Have a good one. Peace.